So Bernie Sanders has come out swinging to defend the milquetoast policy reforms introduced by the Bernie Biden task force. Let's talk about it. So yesterday, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden's task force finally put forth their platform that everyone has been so looking forward to, because it included names like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Pramila Jayapal, and other progressive activists, if you will, who are just incredibly dedicated to making sure we fight tooth and nail for progressive policy changes, at least that's what a lot of people thought. Now, as you could probably guess, it didn't really introduce anything new. It looked almost exactly like Joe Biden's platform while he was running for the election. Now, it's one thing to call this or these policies centrist policies. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing, even if you want to call them liberal policies, because that's what Democrats do. They've already, contorted the definition of liberalism so much that it's hardly recognizable anymore. It's one thing if you want to call it that. But what Bernie did in his recent MSNBC interview was take it a step further. Let's check out that interview.
Senator, I know today there were these sort of working groups, policy committees that some folks from your presidential campaign staff had been engaged in with the Biden staff. They announced some of the results of that. I saw a poll today I thought was very interesting that showed, I think it was 87% of Sanders supporters supporting Joe Biden, only 4% supporting Trump. And basically the picture it painted, and this is across the various candidates who are in that very crowded primary field, was a very unified Democratic Party, a very unified electorate in defeating Trump. Is that your sense of where things are right now?
Absolutely. Look, I think every person who voted for me, and I think for the other Democratic candidates, fully understands that Donald Trump is the most dangerous president, if not in the modern history of our country, then in the overall history of our country. And that it is absolutely imperative that we come together and defeat him badly. I was glad to work with the vice president in forming 6 separate task forces, which had some of the most knowledgeable people in the country coming together to deal with education and climate change and healthcare and the economy and criminal justice and immigration reform. And these folks, needless to say, people who represented the progressive movement, had a different perspective on things than did Biden's people. But there was serious discussion, and I think a real honest effort to come up with a compromise. And I think the compromise that they came up with, if implemented, will make Biden the most progressive president since FDR. It did not have, needless to say, everything that I wanted, didn't have everything that Biden wanted, but there is no question that on some of the major issues facing this country, if that agenda is implemented, life will improve for tens and tens of millions of working people. It'll improve for our environment.
There's only one thing that I agree with in that entire interview that Bernie Sanders said, which is there was a lot of discussion. Just like everything else with the Democratic Party and the neoliberal elite, there was a whole lot of this. Just talking, no action. See, what Bernie Sanders has confused is that you can't lie and tell us that Joe Biden, didn't get everything he wanted. He got absolutely everything he wanted because he didn't want anything. He let us know exactly where. He said, in a Joe Biden presidency, nothing will fundamentally change. And if you go back and look at what that platform includes, or rather what it doesn't include, which is there is no Medicare for all. There is no dedication to fight against imperialism and rein in the military-industrial complex. There is no dedication to fighting climate change and the neoliberal environmental policies that we've been seeing put in place by people like Barack Obama and then George W. Bush before him. There's no commitment to the Green New Deal, and the Green New Deal doesn't do a damn thing. Really, it at least helps you pretend like you give a damn. That at least does that. But even that, it's far too progressive for Joe Biden. So, as we sit here reading this, I wouldn't even call it like they didn't introduce policies. They're like, man, here's some stuff that we want to do, which you could already find on Joe Biden's website for the most part. Took a lot of effort to coordinate this. Just want to let everybody know, a lot of disagreement to get to the exact same place we started. As they're selling us this pile of horse manure, I have Bernie Sanders looking at me dead in my face and saying that Joe Biden, if these policies were implemented, would be the most progressive president since FDR. What is he going to like? Create internment camps like FDR? Is that what you mean when you're trying to liken him to FDR? I mean, because, FDR was good on some issues, but he wasn't the same. So maybe that's what he's talking about. Because, FDR was racist towards some Japanese people when you like to erase that part of his history. Maybe that's what he's referring to, because history erased Joe Biden's racism, or at least they're trying to erase Joe Biden's racism. Is it progressive to try and fight for $300 million more to police departments that have literally been killing black men in broad daylight, abusing peaceful protesters, arresting peaceful protesters, while pretending that the peaceful protesters are the problem? How dare you be protesting peacefully all up in my personal space? Is that what was FDR like really big on the police state? Is that like progressivism? Progressivism for who, Bernie? Progressivism for who? It's one thing if you're honest with me and say, man, we didn't get really anything that we wanted wholesale, but we fought like hell with people that we vehemently disagreed with to get as much as we possibly could, because that's where we're at right now. I wouldn't have liked it, but I would have at least appreciated the honesty, and we did not get that from Bernie Sanders. In fact, this man hit me with the whirlpool spin cycle. Went to Best Buy, picked up a fresh Whirlpool washing machine of bullshit, and just hit the spin cycle and just spun the hell out of that platform. Oh my God. Whoo. The audacity of hope. You didn't get Medicare for all. Do you know what he got? Public option? No, he didn't get public option. He got ACA. No, excuse me. An expansion of ACA. Whatever the hell that means. Do you even know what it means? Does Bernie even know what it means? I don't know what it means. We're going to expand Medicaid. That kind of should be like done already, regardless of ACA. And also, you really need to do that at the state level more than anything else if anything is going to be effective. Did he ban private prisons? Did he even reduce private prisons? Did he hold these corrupt policing institutions accountable? Reduce the Pentagon budget by even a cent? Even suggest maybe that we should hold people accountable for war? Nothing. We got nothing. All you Green New Deal fans, y'all know I'm a fan of the off-fact. I like actual legislation with my rhetoric, but it's neither here nor there. Y'all Green New Deal fans, you didn't even get that. What am I supposed to do with all the people who stayed silent? All the people who are defending even this task force? What are we supposed to do with that? Are we supposed to pretend like these are still progressive champions? Not saying that they're not allies, but I'm supposed to keep pretending like that's what people want, right? That's what a lot of people want. How dare you ask progressives to be progressive and be consistent in their quote unquote progressive principles. That's what I get told. What have you done lately? I don't know, but I didn't run for office to pretend like I was going to do something else. That's for damn sure. I did not do that lately. That's why I just find it laughable when I see people, attack my team, attack Fiorella, attack Pasta, attack Johnny, attack Robbie, because they've just been calling it like it is. We've all been calling it like it is from the beginning. A vote for Biden is not a vote against Trump. It's just a vote for Biden. It's a vote for the private prison system. It is a vote for a literal segregationist. Now people want to kind of, well, we don't have a choice now. Well, you had a choice. You had a choice to fight the system that created Biden and Donald Trump from the beginning, but y'all wanted to excommunicate anybody and everybody who did not bend the knee to whatever y'all began to define as Bernie Sanders progressivism. So y'all never even held him accountable so that he could use that big platform he had to stop creating fake task forces and instead use it to fight election fraud. Instead, use it to fight for Julian Assange. Instead, use it to fight for Chelsea Manning. Instead, use it to call out imperialism and all of its different shapes and sizes, rather than the imperialism being experienced by leaders who endorse you so you like them. That's basically the only time that Bernie really, except for in very, very obvious cases like Iraq. But that's the only time Bernie and AOC and the like want to speak up against imperialism. It got to be the wars that's okay to not like. It was okay to speak out against Iran eventually, or against the war potentially brewing in Iran eventually. But it wasn't okay for y'all to support the only piece of legislation that was trying to hold Trump accountable for that war, huh? For that potential war. North American ape, remember when Burners were ready to square up when someone said access to health care? Now Bernie is doing it and they're silent. But what can he do, quote unquote? Woo! And it's crazy how that works, huh? Man, I don't know, but I know at least one of the candidates that I supported this election ain't out here telling lies about how progressive Biden is. Just saying, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I wonder if that's a good gig he got. I wonder if it pays well. It must pay very well. But hey, at least Bernie's gonna have his page in the history books, man. At least y'all get to say, y'all got to work for Bernie Sanders. It was so much fun. I made so many friends. I know if we still don't have Medicare for all. And right now, there's seemingly no path forward to any of the policies that Bernie supposedly wanted. That Bernie asked us to fight for, when he told us it's not him, it's us. And yet, he keeps telling us to believe him when he constantly lies straight to our face about what we're getting. It's sad. Because some people, based off of that interview, are genuinely going to believe what Bernie has to say for no other reason other than the fact, well, Bernie Sanders wouldn't lie to us. Would he? When he sat there and lied to you about why he voted for the crime bill, he said, it's because of the Violence Against Women's Act. If you go back and watch his interview, that's not why he voted for the crime bill. He was using the same rhetoric as everybody else. So maybe now we can start seeing some accountability. Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. Is any of the sycophants out there going to speak out about the fact that this is supposedly the most honest candidate in the race? Supposedly. Many of his supporters might argue Gravel. But they made Bernie the standard bearer of honesty and attacked anyone who ever questioned that maybe sometimes Bernie does play politician, but y'all are too blind and loyal to see it. Because if you at least, you can like him, you can consider him an ally, but if you at least acknowledge that he does play politician, then you can use that to your advantage as an activist by holding him accountable where he needs to be held accountable. We've seen Bernie start to change course a bit whenever he gets some pushback. But unfortunately, I seriously doubt that we'll see basically we need to see a whole renege by many Bernie supporters. Y'all need to renege on a lot of the nonsense y'all were talking. Oh, well, I just don't trust Andrew Yang. I trusted him as far as I trust most politicians, I suppose. Not more or less. Well, you know, Marianne Williamson's a crypto imperialist. No, Marianne Williamson's just trying to learn. I actually can understand why she gets things wrong. It's not like she's been doing this for 70 years. At least I don't believe that she's doing it for her own personal gain. Y'all took people who weren't taking corporate money and then said, even with all your shortcomings, or excuse me, even with all your upside, the potential that we see in you all, your name's not Bernie Sanders and you decide to run against him in the same race. So it's no, you're a crypto fascist. You're secretly conservative. You're a neoliberal. You're just here to stop Bernie from winning. When it's beginning to look more and more like Bernie was there to stop them from winning or even having a chance to fight for a vote. He took all those resources. You know what we got for it? A task force with Joe Biden, where for the last month and some change, they got absolutely nothing done. And then he's going to sit here and tell you, well, he'd be the most progressive president since FDR. With no Medicare for all, no climate change legislation or any significant plan to fix a lot of what Obama caused and what Trump has caused. No anti-imperialist agenda. Just more rhetoric. I wonder how good that next book is going to do. Probably not as well as the last one. Because at least then we believe when he said it was our revolution. But now I can't even believe it when he says there's a revolution at all, at least coming from his end. And that's sad space to be in, to be honest with you. I'd love to know what your thoughts are about this task force and the platform, and of course Bernie's comments on the MSNBC video. So like this video, share this video, leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. Consider supporting the show by becoming a Patreon subscriber. You can click on the link in the description below for that, or endorsing us on Rockfin and getting basically everybody else who's important all their content. Us, Convo Couch, Jimmy Dore, Kim Iverson, Last American Vagabonds on there. Jason Bermas is on there. He does a lot of good Epstein stuff. A lot of people on there, left and right. You can get all of our premium content there, or you can even go subscribe for free just to see what you're missing at rockfin.com/Niko. And then after, you can endorse us. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. If you like that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa, don't forget to like the video and smash that subscribe button. Want access to members only live streams, behind the scenes footage, and other premium content? Well, you can endorse us on Rockfin Premium, become a patron through Patreon, or you can sign up for the MCSC Premium membership through YouTube. All the links are in the description below. But hey, more than anything else, always remember,
find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Always remember, more than anything else, find your balance.
peace.